Welcome to TzuChi This Week. I'm Dennis Wu. It's good to have you with us. And in today's headlines, in China's Jiangsu, 731 cataract patients can see once again, thanks to TzuChi who paid for their operations. And we take you to East Malaysia to check out the annual charity auction at the TzuChi Liaison Office in Kota Kinabalu. And in Japan's Iwate Prefecture, TzuChi concluded its first large-scale relief distribution to earthquake and tsunami victims, benefiting some 6,500 families. In Jiangsu, China, TzuChi has been helping cataract patients who cannot afford treatment to get free surgery. This year alone, 731 patients have regained their sight thanks to TzuChi. Recently, volunteers set off from Shanghai to Suyang County in Jiangsu to check on the recovering patients who enjoyed seeing again with their eyes.
Can you see me? Can you see me? You see me now? I'm a good girl, right? Yes, I'm a good girl.
In Jiangsu, China, this 93-year-old grandma can see once again after a successful cataract operation. TzuChi volunteers have a red scarf prepared for the senior as a gift of blessing. The volunteers also check on seniors who underwent their cataract operations earlier. Though a cataract operation is quite simple, the cost is simply unaffordable to residents of this impoverished farming community. Since 2004, TzuChi began providing cataract patients in the area with free operations. In this year alone, 731 people have regained their sight. The volunteers know well of the joy of regaining one's sight and thus continue to do their best to serve whoever is in need. In East Malaysia, TzuChi's Kota Kinabalu Liaison Office recently held its annual charity auction. Residents came to purchase items they needed, with the proceeds going towards the construction of the Jiangsu Hall in Kuala Lumpur. The bell chimes sounding off the annual charity auction of TzuChi's Liaison Office in Kota Kinabalu, Malaysia. Here, people can shop for food and drinks, and also have fun. The event is always well attended. The stall featuring Jiangsu publications is always crowded, a sign of the public's acceptance of TzuChi's humanistic values.
More and more people now know that they can buy TzuChi publications here at the charity auction, so they intentionally save their coupons to come here to buy these titles.
Yang Haiqian has long been a staunch supporter of TzuChi products. 3 years ago, she was introduced to TzuChi's wide variety of natural foods. Now, TzuChi's multigrain meals are part of her family's breakfast.
Before, we used to think that the most expensive was the best. You know, those with additives such as DHA. But when you think about it, natural is actually the best. So you should eat natural products, those without additives.
Yang Haiqian thus prepares TzuChi's multigrain meals for her family. Besides health benefits, she believes they are also good for the environment.
I've heard that milk is actually meant for calves and is not suitable for human consumption. The dairy industry can be quite harmful to our environment as well. If there's an alternative that is good for our planet and the health of our children, then why not take it?
Through the charity auction, residents have each found a unique way to enrich their lives and at the same time serve a higher purpose. As you just saw, the TzuChi charity auction in Kota Kinabalu, Malaysia was a great success. One of the patrons who is sure to show up almost every year is Jiang Lirong. A teacher in Papa, John started reading Jiangsu aphorisms 10 years ago and was deeply inspired by their wisdom. The teacher decided to share and apply the wise sayings with her students. At TzuChi's annual charity auction in Kota Kinabalu, people can find a wide variety of products to satisfy their needs. One of the customers that show up almost every year is Jiang Rong. She picked up her first Jiangsu aphorisms 10 years ago and has been influenced by Tzu Chi's humanistic values ever since.
Every sentence epitomizes truth, goodness, and beauty. I show it to my children at home, and I also take it to school or wherever I go. I think Jiangsu aphorisms are incredibly easy to understand and apply for the average person.
Ms. Jiang teaches at Papa's St. Joseph National School, south of Kota Kinabalu. Jiangsu aphorisms can be found inside the 6th grade's homeroom, in which she teaches.
为自己找借口的人永远黑利啊！
I think it is easy for children to understand and take in Jiangsu aphorisms. When they encounter trouble, it helps them find solutions.
We feel that children have such an innocent heart. If they deviate onto the wrong path, we should do our best to steer them back onto the right path.
Teachers are like a lighthouse, guiding their students in the vast open sea. The wisdom inside Tzu Chi's Jiangsu aphorisms not only lights up students' heart, but also benefits their teachers.
The wisdom inside Jiangsu aphorisms is deep and profound and reminds me to constantly adjust my bad habits. I'm doing my best to change.
Life should be lived with wisdom. Through Jiangsu aphorisms, Ms. Jiang has found a source of wisdom for herself and her students. Last weekend, the TzuChi Japan Disaster Relief Team completed their aid distribution in cities of Kamaishi and Rikuzen Takata of Iwate Prefecture, which were hard hit by the March 11th earthquake and subsequent tsunami. Over the space of 4 days, some 6,500 families received cash awards from TzuChi in an amount of 30,000, 50,000, or 70,000 yen. Over 50 volunteers from TzuChi Japan and 52 TzuChi volunteers from Taiwan helped to ensure the distribution went smoothly. Each volunteer relished the opportunity to give, much to the appreciation of the quake survivors, as well as the mayor of Rikuzen Takata, who stopped by for a visit. Listening, singing, and even joining in with the movements of TzuChi volunteers, aid recipients are all moved by the performance put on for their sake.
Seeing the extent of the disaster, the rubble, the crashed cars, I was taken aback in dismay. So I thought that we could use TzuChi songs to send our love to them and let them know that TzuChi will always be by their side.
Whether kneeling to comfort an aid recipient or bowing in hello or goodbye, the actions of each volunteer is steeped in diligence and attentiveness.
Please watch your step so you don't fall. If I forget to say it in Japanese, I just take a quick look at my notes here. Seeing everyone so happy, how could I be tired or weary?
Behind the volunteers' effort is an ability to place themselves in another's shoes.
5 years ago, my storehouse burned to the ground and 100 million NT dollars of stock went up in smoke. That feeling is so hard to describe. And when I see these disaster victims, my heart just aches.
As well, volunteers try to transmit the founding values of TzuChi to recipients through a handmade bamboo bag.
It was originally a PET bottle before I cut a hole in the top. The important thing is to let them know how TzuChi started 45 years ago, which was the love of many, as well to teach how this love came to be.
The aid that victims have received is the accumulation of the love of many. Also here in love are TzuChi's architectural commissioners.
The houses here are basically finished. Either their windows are broken, or if the windows aren't broken, then the structure is off kilter. In a situation like this, where do you run to?
Looking at the ravaged landscape, the volunteers feel the pain of the disaster victims. The mayor of Rikuzen Takata can feel the genuine love of the volunteers.
Although we have received aid and encouragement from around the world, we have felt how these volunteers from Taiwan have been able to sympathize and truly understand the pain and feelings of the residents here.
Although some 6,500 households received aid in 4 days, TzuChi sees its work here in Japan as far from finished.
During the disaster, many schools collapsed. Now these children are transferred elsewhere and things like that. These children have lost their friends and don't really have a good education environment in which to learn. And this worries the master. Master Zheng Yan took the philosophy gleaned from the 9/21 earthquake in Taiwan, which he then shared with the leaders of Rikuzen Takata and Kamaishi. They were all very willing and hope that TzuChi, in the realm of education, will leave a memorial for the children and grandchildren.
TzuChi's first large-scale cash relief distribution in Iwate Prefecture was completed right around the 3-month anniversary of the 9.0 magnitude quake. TzuChi's relief team encountered many interesting people, each with their own inspirational stories during the handout. We now bring you a story about a strong heart and seeds of hope. It is hard to fathom the destruction caused by the recent earthquake and tsunami in northeast Japan without coming here personally.
Beautiful city, but now nothing, everything, nothing.
Sato-san owns a seed shop. On March 11th, he lost everything to the disaster.
Can I help you? いらっしゃいませ。谢谢光临。欢迎光臨。欢迎光臨。ここね。My shopping place. So I haven't. I have nothing. I have nothing.
Any disaster victims that fall into our criteria, we shall do our best to help them and deliver the aid to them. Master, please do not worry.
After some 2 months of planning and surveying, TzuChi Japan chapter decided that cash relief was the best way to help the disaster victims directly. With the support of TzuChi members around the world, the Buddhist NGO was the first foreign NGO authorized to carry out a cash relief distribution in northeast Japan. Some 100 volunteers from Taiwan and Japan then headed for Iwate Prefecture. Upon arriving, each volunteer take their respective position to serve the residents. They overcome the language barrier with body language and smiles.
When I came through the front door, you embraced me warmly. I saw how you treated us courteously. You have inspired me to work harder as well. They are all very grateful that we have come all this way to help them. She tells me she has nothing left except that she's alive. That's really...
What they received is not the cash inside, but the love of TzuChi, and that's why everyone is moved. Such shared sentiment is what draws us to them. We are touched and so are they, and we feel our hearts are bounded together.
Of course, the money helps, but more importantly, by you coming here with such a sincere attitude, that's what's going to live on forever in our hearts.
Sato-san is reinvigorated, feeling the love inside TzuChi's relief package. Since the disaster, he has reopened his store in a tent and dreams of rebuilding his store once again.
I haven't this place, but this is I have. So, this is the answer.
Sato-san and many others like him who TzuChi volunteers came across will continue to rebuild with a renewed faith and hope for a better tomorrow.
On this day, the 18th of June, during the Second World War, on behalf of the Soviet Union, the Red Army Marshal Georgy Konstantinovich Zhukov oversaw the signing of Germany's surrender in Berlin. He passed away on this day in 1974. Zhukov was said to be the most decorated general in the Russian Empire and Soviet Union. 17 students from the experimental elementary school of TzuChi University graduated on this day in 2002. Master Zheng Yan attended the first graduation ceremony and gave words of encouragement to the children. The following year, the school's kindergarten also held its first graduation ceremony, marking the beginning of TzuChi's comprehensive education plan. Representatives from the American Red Cross arrived in Taiwan to sign a memorandum of understanding with the TzuChi Foundation at the Humanitarian Center in Taipei on this day in 2008. The memorandum would improve coordination in disaster preparation, response and recovery. TzuChi is the first organization to have established a national disaster partnership with the Red Cross.
In our next report today, we go to the United States to learn about the life story of one determined TzuChi volunteer, Wang Liyu. Wang lost her parents at the age of 3 and was later adopted. Life continued to challenge her. It was then, when she moved to New York at 48 years of age, that she met TzuChi through Dai TV. Master Zheng Yan's teaching helped her find a sense of tranquility in her heart. She then seized every moment to help those in need and dedicated the rest of her life to charity work. The kind-hearted and devoted volunteer recently passed away from cancer. We now join volunteers and family members in the memorial service.
Everyone knows that Sister Liyu was someone who silently gives. We were not part of her earlier life, but her later part of life was complete because of TzuChi.
Seizing every minute of her life to give is the impression most volunteers have of Sister Wang Liyu. Wang arrived in the United States at the age of 47, not speaking a word of English and filled with hatred from a broken marriage. It was not until she began to watch Dai TV and listen to Master Zheng Yan's teaching that she found tranquility at heart. For Sister Liyu, TzuChi became her source of spiritual support, and from giving to those in need, she found a new meaning in life. Despite suffering from lung cancer, the volunteer insisted on participating in events throughout her treatment.
Every Sunday we have Sister Liyu's company. She is with us on the Bodhisattva path. We feel that she is still right beside us.
I remember when I was still young, if she heard someone needed help, she never hesitated to help financially. She seized every minute in life. As long as she was capable, she always did her best.
Whenever she could, Li Yu did her best to give. Even when she became bedridden, Li Yu still worried about the Japanese disaster victims.
When my mum was ill, she kept on reminding me of her 3 wishes. First, she said her time with TzuChi was a short one in this life, so she hopes we can continue doing charity work on her behalf. Second, she hopes to go in peace, with no worries, and come back in the next life.
As Sister Li Yu's memories remain in their hearts, family members and TzuChi volunteers all turn their grief into sincere blessings and inspiration.
A group of Tibetan monks from the Sera Monastery are currently on a world peace tour in the United States. While in California last month, they stopped by the TzuChi headquarters in San Dimas to learn about the NGO. The monks said they shared TzuChi's mission to promote inner and world peace.
On May 26, 2011, a group of 4 Tibetan monks from Sera Monastery came to San Dimas headquarters to learn more about TzuChi Foundation and bless the local temple. During the presentation, they learned about Da'ai technology products and TzuChi's efforts in environmental protection.
Also the blanket, and we use this blanket to do distribution.
Sera Ling Monastery has over 5,000 monks, the majority of which are students pursuing their religious studies. The 4 representatives from Sera Monastery had been in the United States as part of the World Peace Tour 2011 to offer a cultural program of ancient Tibetan arts that serve as public performances as well as divine offerings. Andy Cao helped introduce TzuChi to the monks and wished to order 5,000 Jiangsu books to give to hotels.
It's necessary to put a Jiangsu book in the hotel to share with people. Thousands are not even enough.
All of the participants of the May 26th introduction of the foundation appeared moved and willing to spread word of TzuChi. From Da'ai TV, Emily Chen and Tony Shin reporting.
At the end of today's program, we travel to China's Guangzhou, where TzuChi was once again invited to participate in the local Buddhist goods exhibition. Not only did the stall feature Jiangsu publications and products, volunteers also promoted TzuChi's ideas through easy-to-understand short skits. That's all the time we have for. Thank you for watching TzuChi this week. Have a good weekend. Goodbye.